setup for painting with watercolors, I like to have it laid out in this position. I like to have my paper towel, which is not included in your kit, so you will need to grab a paper towel yourself, as well as the water. That is not included in your kit, so you want to grab a cup of water to use your paints. Otherwise, I have my palette set up near the water, the paint, my paper directly in front of me. I have my tester strip, and I have the tape, just in case. I am actually not going to be using the tape for this card. Today we are going to be making a Christmas light tree. It's just the lights kind of in the shape of a Christmas tree. This is a great starting image to choose because it's a pretty simple drawing, but it looks very festive. So to start, we're actually going to start with our drawing. To create the tree, I'm going to start kind of in the center of the paper, curve it out, curve it back, and I'm going to slowly get wider and wider as I work my way down. Do one more at the bottom. Okay? Now I'm going to just create little ovals. I'm going to do one at the tippy top and kind of switch sides as you go. They're almost like ovals or, soft diamonds. Whatever you would like. And you'll kind of get in the quick habit of creating them. And just keep it going as you work your way down. I don't want them to get too close together. Like if I have one here, I'm not going to have one directly across from it. Usually when you look at a string of lights, they're pretty staggered. And these are kind of the old-fashioned string of Christmas lights. And be loose with it. There's no reason to have everyone perfect. You're making hand-drawn cards, so you want them to look hand-drawn. Now it's that easy. You're going to get all these lights in, and my drawing is done. So next, I'm going to move on to the painting portion. To use any of the watercolor paints, you need to wet them. So I just wet my brush, I go in and wet my paint. Now I am not going to mix this in my palette. I want to have really bright colors and pretty saturated paint, so I'm just going to use it directly out of the palette this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my color and really stagger. I'm probably going to have 3 or 4 colors that I'm going to use, so I'm not going to go green every single one. I'm going to stagger them a bit. Keep going. Making sure I have green every few lights. Oops, I don't want it here. I'm gonna add one right here. Just keep them far apart. Just wash off my brush. I'm gonna go in with red. Green and red are obviously Christmas colors. They're also what we call complementary colors. They're opposites. So they look really bright. And I'm gonna add red on the top because that's kind of a major Christmas color. Again, these lights are not perfect. But I like that look. I like the rough, hand-drawn effect of it. Now I'm going pretty quickly, but if this is your first time using watercolors, it's going to take you a little bit more time to fill in each one carefully. I recommend outlining the shape and then filling it in. Remember that the lighter you press with the brush, the thinner the line. The harder you press, the thicker the line. Now you can have fun with the lights too. You don't have to make them all different colors. You could make them all red, all green, just red and green. It's totally up to you. It's your painting. This is just a guide, but you can make it your own. So I'm going to move on to the next color. What's nice about this painting too is that the colors aren't touching, so I don't need to wait for any paint to dry. I can just go into the next color without waiting. Sometimes with watercolors, if you're working on a wet paint, it can bleed a lot and you have to wait for it to dry before adding any new colors. I'll do one more. Add some blue next. I'm starting to run out of lights here. I want to do one more color just to make it look a little bit even and more rainbow and festive. So I'm not going to do as many blue as I did with the red, the green, and the yellow. And finally, I'm going to do a purple. Now, to use purple, I need to mix it. Purple does not come in this kit. So I'm going to take a little bit of the pink. I'm preferring to use the pink over the red because I want sort of a brighter purple, not too dark. I'm going to mix the blue and I'm going to mix the pink and get sort of a purple. And I'm going to get in my final lights. Now if you have too much paint on your brush, just dry it off a little bit and then go back in. I had too much from mixing. I'm going to fill in the remainder of the lights. One more. And at this point, I'm going to need to let it dry. You have to let the paint fully dry before going in with the fine tipped pen. So from here, just give it a few minutes. So once the watercolor is fully dry, we can take our fine liner pen and go over our outline. We're going to start at the top and work our way down, but I want to put these little black kind of pieces at the end of each light just to accentuate it a little bit, and then follow the line down, back, and forth. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're drawing lines and using a pen like this is you want to see where the line is going, not where it's been. So if you start here, you want to look ahead instead of kind of exactly where it's at. So if I'm starting the pen here, I want to look forward and keep going, working our way down, completing the final lines. And once you're done, I'm going to go back and fill in kind of the end holding piece for each light. Like I said, it just adds a little detail to it, and it's kind of nice to finish off the piece. Now, if you get a little paint, like I just did on your tip of your pen, you can scribble on a piece of paper to get off that excess paint, because sometimes it's hard to draw when you have that paint on there. And continue going through the lights. I'm going to keep going. This takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. Sometimes little details make the biggest effect. So continue through. I like to outline kind of the square and then fill it in. And it's just rough. I'm not trying to be too neat about it. Just going through. And keep going. If you forget one, just go back. And we're almost complete. Kind of getting into the last line. And almost there. Final light. And to finish it off, I always do like to sign my name. And I want to do it kind of in a fun spot. Maybe on the line to make it look like the line. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and we appreciate all comments. Thank you so much.